Inspiration for writing the project came from a documentary we watched a while ago, and it was all to do with interpreters from Afghanistan and their struggle to sort of get into America. And it led Guy to be inspired by this idea of, is there a story to be told around this? But rather than just make it straightforward, like one-sided story, we try to add this sort of like two halves to it, where someone goes above and beyond to save somebody and the debt that's incurred and trying to repay that back. So it sort of led to this whole sort of idea of a story of two halves, of one man doing the right thing and then having to do the right thing in return. Well, it's interesting because what makes a real Guy Ritchie film is that most people think there's a certain sort of like tone to the dialogue, but I think what he's shown over the last sort of few years is there's a range to what we can do. We've done a lot. We started off this endeavor sort of 4 years ago with something that was very much Guy Ritchie, and then consciously made an effort to try and go away from that. So, we did like Wrath of Man, which is more like straightforward crime revenge drama, which again people wouldn't necessarily associate with him. And then we went for a light tone Operation Fortune, and then now sort of going full circle again to something that's like a serious tone, a story that's relevant to sort of what's been happening in the world recently. So yeah, I think it's whether you describe it as a Guy Ritchie film or not, I think that's always going to creep into it. But I think just showing good range. There's a balance with action. We try and get that strike the balance of action being realistic. There's sometimes things can sort of feel like over choreographed. So we tend to have obviously stunt choreographers, fight choreographers, and they come along, and then we mix it up on the day just to keep it fresh, make it look, not necessarily try and make it look edgy, but just give it a more real tone to what you traditionally see with stuff that seems to be overly orchestrated and rehearsed.